The ML60 from Godox. It's lightweight, it's battery powered, but is it any good? Hey, welcome back. My name's Adam. This is Music of a Man, and if you are not brand new to the channel, you'll notice it's a little bit different here. Trying something new, a few little upgrades to the setup. If you like it, let us know in the comments. If you don't, keep that to yourself. This is the Godox ML60. Let's quickly get it unboxed and see what comes in the case. Yes, it comes with a carry case. Yes! Yeah, he really is easily pleased, isn't he? So this is the small case it comes with. It's a really small light. First off, there's a pocket at the front. Nothing in there, just wanted to double check no one had left a fiver in there. Quickly get it open, and in the inside of the lid you have the manual, the warranty, and in the manual it starts off in Chinese and English, the second half of it, and it's pretty thorough. Get that bit of foam off, can't really see that everlasting too much, and there it is, the Godox ML60. And I mean, look at it, it is absolutely tiny. As you can see, there's a little catch on the side, just like a standard Bowens mount, but it isn't. It's a much smaller version of the Bowens mount. Stay tuned. I've got a little bit of a hack rather than you having to invest in loads of new modifiers to fit this light. Setting that to the side, and as you can see, it also comes with a reflector. This is the new, smaller Godox version of a Bowens mount. That's what we're going to be calling it all the way through this. Here's the thing you've really come to see. The battery holder takes two Sony MPF batteries, doesn't take one at a time. You need to have both those slots filled. Then you also get a power brick and a power cable for UK 3-pin and European 2-pin, so you don't just have to use batteries. Then you've got the two connecting leads from either the power brick or the battery holder. These two cables are identical other than the length, so you can select which length you need, whether you're using the battery holder on the actual handle or off, or you're using the power brick. Speaking of the handle, this is it. This is such a great little addition. As you can see, it's got a lighting stand connection on the bottom, which can screw into pretty much anything you want to put it on, and you just line up the back and slot it in. It really is that simple. Now, as you can see on the top of this handle, it's got a small thread, and that screws directly into the ML60 on the bottom of there. As you can see, all the way around there's vents, and we'll come to that in a little while. The fan is so quiet. So taking the smaller or the shorter cable, and if you look, trying to get this in focus, it wasn't exactly easy, but it locks into place into the top of that battery holder. It's fantastic. So that locks nicely into there, and then the other end just goes straight into the back of the ML60. If the back of the ML60 looks very similar, it is pretty much the same design on the back as the SL60, but obviously this is battery powered and much smaller. I mean, come on, how small is that setup for a handheld light? It's brilliant. And also, as it seems with pretty much every single Godox light, they've included this set of gels, which I'll never use. And finally, the wireless remote control. Glad that they've included that. So looking at the battery holder, that top button, which is actually the release button for the MPF batteries, also doubles as a battery level indicator. Always really handy if your batteries don't come with a level indicator. So turn up the brightness. You can't get past 50 when the fan is turned off. You can enable or disable the fan in the actual menu. So switching over, turning on that fan, and now I can take it all the way up to 100. So it's limited to 50% if you've got the fan turned off, and when you turn the fan off again, it takes it straight down to 50 if you've got it set above 50 with the fan on. And I love this touch. Seriously, little things really make me happy. That little kickstand that comes out underneath the battery holder, so you can set it down easily. Now, I did mention that this is a smaller Bowens mount style or fitting that Godox have developed for this. So here's a little hack. You may have the money to invest in smaller modifiers for this light, but if you don't and you've got a load of other modifiers that are for standard Bowens mount, this is a brilliant way to be able to use them with this light. This is the Godox S bracket. And to use this, you just simply need to slip out the bottom portion of this holder. It's designed to hold the strobes, any kind of full power strobes that you would normally use with off-camera flash. So with that bottom clamp out and that clamp all the way open at the top, slide in the ML60 and then just tighten it down. And there, right there, you have the ML60 with a standard Bowens mount. So now for a quick size comparison, this is the original reflector that came with it. Now it's far too small. And now you have a standard Bowens mount for the Bowens reflector or any other modifiers you may have. Yep, so as you can see, you've got everything you need to get going. Yeah, it has that smaller Bowens mount, and that's a little bit of a stickler for me, but I love that little hack with the S bracket. So link in the description if you want to pick one of those up. They're just over 20 quid or something, and they're great for off-camera flash as well. If you're looking to get off camera and you've got Bowens mount big modifiers that you want to use, but you've got nothing to, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Link in the description if you'd like it. So this little guy, do you know what? I find it intriguing more than anything. I really love that set. I mean, just look at that setup. That is a 60-watt light ready to go. You know what? For size comparison, let's just bring in the VL150. And so, yeah, okay, this is 60 watts compared to 150 watts. But, I mean, look, if you look at the chip size, you can see this is actually about 50% of the size, 60 being just a little bit less than half of 150. But I tell you what, for difference of that, I mean, this, I can tell you, this is already getting a bit too heavy in the hand. But with this, with the handle, I mean, I am loving this. I'm not going to compare the power of the light because in all honesty, 60 watts compared to 150, although it is, you do get decreasing returns as you go up the wattage, and there's loads of videos online comparing the two. A couple of things I really love about this. I love the fact that this is detachable just by that little bracket there, and you get two lengths of that lead, so you can always set this further down on an actual stand, or with the actual back, there's a little belt clip there as well, so you could run it down onto your belt to give it just a little bit less of a weight on your arm if you're running and gunning. We have a client that has a big warehouse that we shoot their products in the warehouse. We shoot the A-cam in a studio set up in an office, which is absolutely fine. But when we're out on the actual warehouse floor looking to film stuff in the actual warehouse setup, because that's the aesthetic that they want, it's really, really difficult. The VL150 was or is still currently our main key light, and that can take a V-mount battery, but we don't have any. And to be honest with you, I'm not looking to drop 150, 200 quid on a battery alone. This sorts out all that with Sony MPF batteries. I mean, it's just, I just love it. I think this is the perfect run and gun setup because you still have the lighting stand fixing on the bottom if you need to mount it. You have this little kick thing, which is just genius because that just gives it that little bit extra to go on a tabletop if you need it to stand up for a bit. Even if you're just running and gunning and you need to set this down, you don't want to put it on its side because possibly it's got a modifier on the front and you don't want to lean it down. That little thing, that is genius. It's funny, isn't it? Because this is a great portable light, great setup to actually have the batteries right there, so it's the right height for kind of like center of gravity. It's all aligned. And yet my favorite bit about this is a little kickstand at the bottom which lets you set it down. If you've played with any kind of gimbal or anything, you know how important it is to be able to set that stuff down between takes. That just makes my life. As I said in the unboxing, it does come with this little this little reflector. Do you know what? Hold on. Wrong phone. Let's kill that main. This is like the best torch you've ever had. I mean, really shouldn't do that. But that's at 50%. And do you know what? Let's set this. I haven't got a monitor set up to monitor me. That's a bit of a schoolboy error. I mean, it feels like it's doing an all right job. There might be some hotspots there. I mean, hotspots at 5%, and that's what? It's a full arm's length to the chip. So what, 3 feet maybe? Are my arms 3 feet? So yeah, just had a quick check on that, and at the back of the camera, it looks maybe still a little bit hot. But if I bring that maybe a little bit more round so it doesn't cast as many shadows, that's still at 5%, no modifier on the front of it. And it's just, I think that's great. Let me grab one of the little gel things from the box. As you can tell, I'm still pretty new to this setup, and we do have kind of like leads everywhere. But let's get the white diffusion. It's probably going to throw off the white balance, but let's see if we can fix that in post. And that's not great. I mean, you get stuff like this with all these lights and you don't ever really use them. But when you look to use them, it looks like it's for a standard size Bowens mount. So that's not great. But let's see if I can get that still held over there. And it looks like it's staying over. So let's push that a little bit. So that's got minimal diffusion, and that's at, I could use the remote, but I can't be bothered setting it up. That's 14%. That's not bad, is it? That's okay. For a 60 watt light, and here's the thing, it's not even at 50%, which means there's no fan. Let's have a quick check of the fan noise. I've got the NTG4 Plus right up here, and that's at 50%. So there shouldn't be any fan noise. Now the fan is right underneath. It looks like a little PC fan actually, but let's turn on the fan. Let's whack it up to 100. Now that's spinning up now. You hear that? Let me turn it upside down. You can probably hear that, but I mean, two things while I quickly change this round, because I'm currently getting blinded and that's probably completely out of exposure or overexposed even. Two things that I noticed with that. One is that it was constant. It was a constant, very, 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 very quiet whir. Whir? You know what I mean? It was the same note, didn't change. That way, if you do hear it and you do need to get it out, the constant pitch and the constant speed of that fan means that any kind of noise reduction software that you're using will be able to get that out nice and easily. Secondly, the minute it came back below 50, it shut off again. So the minute that you come below 50, it definitely cuts off. It doesn't even spin. Most importantly, would I recommend this? Yes. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Godox stuff. I really, really am. And this, I think, is a cracking little addition to the lineup. And it's so small. I can't get over the power that you've got in such a small footprint. That client I mentioned before, I can see us really, really easily now, even with the full Godox softbox on a bracket. I can easily see us going for a good while with this, or even just chucking that on a little light stand. Then all I'm taking around on the shoot is that with a modifier and the stand. I've not got any leads, I've not got any extension cables. It's just going to work brilliantly. Link in the description below if you'd like to grab yourself one of these. I highly, highly recommend them. If you're brand new to the channel, have a little look through the rest of our videos. We've got loads of gear review, but most importantly, if you've enjoyed this video, please, please, please click the like. It really, really does help out the channel. But with that said, my name's Adam. This is Music of a Man. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.